Good evening and Happy New Year, and welcome to the 5-8, where we discuss each of the week's 5 most fucked up topics for 8 minutes. 5 topics, 8 minutes, 2 hosts, a guest, except no guest tonight. Singing, a lot of curse words, and as many cocktails as we deem necessary. LB, Happy New Year. How are you?
Happy New Year. Even have a festive straw for you.
I have a festive glass. Can you see the little...
I love that color. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are you drinking there?
I have to come up with a name for it. I want to call it the Porphyra. So my wife has this like grape flavored electrolyte thing that you put in water to make it's got electrolytes, which is what plants crave. Right. So I just have that. And then I put vodka in it and I shook it with ice and that's what it is. So
is it good?
The grape is good. Let me see.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not so bad. And it's like, it's giving me hydration.
You're getting hydration.
Yeah. So
while you're dehydrating yourself?
Exactly. It's like
you're hydrating and dehydrating?
It's a delicate balance, like the earth right now.
Yeah.
Like the country right now.
Yeah.
Like everything right now. I think we're not going to talk about this, but did you hear this thing about like that Meta AI is like, they're just like making people and like giving them personas online that are just like real, but not real. Like we're getting to, they want friends that badly. Like Mark Zuckerberg wants friends that badly. I remember his head of that Meta universe.
I remember that I thought this was already in the works. There's some new level of?
There's a new level of it. It's not great.
It's like 3D printing. Yeah.
I think 3D printing is better than whatever this is.
Whatever this is.
We're a long way away from Blade Runner. Okay. There's not going to be Daryl Hannah is not going to be coming to market.
No Sean Young.
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
No. No.
Wasn't it Rutger Hauer? Who else was in that? A lot of good people.
Sanderson.
Harrison Ford.
Well, obviously, yeah. But the Sanderson, the guy, who has all the little creatures following him around, but he lives by himself.
Yeah.
But he has all these creatures following him. That's the guy. That's whose world we're living in now. That guy.
Daryl and his other brother Daryl. Are they in there too?
No.
Isn't that the actor? That was my dad sneezing in the background. For all of you who heard that, everything's fine.
God bless you.
Has we have very loud sneezes. This family, that's what we've got.
Okay,
we just have them.
You shall know us by the sound of the sneeze. You shall know
us by the sound. Happy New Year to you. How was your New Year? How was your holiday? We've been gone for a couple weeks. So how was it all?
I was trying to remember. I'm like, were we here last week? I feel like I haven't watched this intro in a while.
Oh my God. I keep forgetting about Mike Flynn on that bike. Yeah.
Chunk, always great. Always great, Chunk.
Always great. Always good.
So I had a good time. We had a nice time. We went down to see some friends of ours in Easton, PA. Maybe this should be called the Swing State because it's like purple. Maybe. I don't know. It's
maybe.
Like a drink. I don't know.
Okay. I like that.
We played Wii bowling and did a little karaoke. We played some Wii bowling.
Oh, Wii machine bowling.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Speaking of,
you guys are, you're out there. You're really,
that's it.
You're wild and crazy on New Year's Eve.
Wild and crazy. Nothing's more wild and crazy than Wii bowling. Let me tell you.
Yeah. And you had a great big, can we talk about your victory?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
This is actually should be all 5 topics.
Yes, it should be.
Yeah, it should be. I won my fantasy football Super Bowl. So my pretend football team beat 11 other pretend football teams to win the pretend trophy with the very real payout at the end of the season. So
nice.
Boom.
I'm very excited for you that you won.
And we have a trophy. When I get it, I'll show it to everybody. And it's new, and we've been doing this for 12 years, but the trophy is a couple years old now, and it has a picture of Burt Reynolds, like with the towel on in the center.
Oh no, the penthouse playgirl.
No, I think it's from some movie where he's like the football player guy or whatever. Oh. So it's called the Burt. That's the name of it. It's called the Burt. I'm going to put it back there. Whoop, the other side there. I'll put it up there so everybody can enjoy it. And remember that while we may not get everything, We got that right. We got that right this year. So yeah, but I honestly, it felt like, that was kind of a good sign. Maybe it was a good omen heading into the new.
Maybe. Yeah, I hope we win. I hope we start winning. There's been a lot of losing. It's time for some winning.
It would be nice to have some. Well, let me tell you, the quarterback. This does relate. I know nothing in the world is more boring than people talking about their fantasy football teams. I realize.
Okay.
So the quarterback on my Super Bowl winning fantasy football team was Jaden Daniels, who's the rookie quarterback on the Washington Commanders. And in Washington, the football team, it has been owned by Dan Snyder, who's one of the worst, most horrid, Trumpy, awful, corrupt, just hideous human being owners. Owned the team for 15 years or something, and they sucked that entire time. And they finally forced him to sell the team last year. So they have a new owner, a new coach, a new quarterback, and they're like good. And everyone's so happy. And it's lovely to see function brought back to Washington. And again, we're not getting it, maybe on Pennsylvania Avenue in January, but we do have some level of function. And I feel like maybe there's some sign there. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That was a lot. I think you read a lot into that.
Well, we have to take the signs where we can find them. I think that's another takeaway.
Okay. All right.
I'm not gonna if I feel like vibrations and vibes coming, I'm gonna try to ride the vibes, even if they just wind up being.
All right, we're riding the vibes.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my fancy blue glass straw. I'm gonna ride the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should tell everybody that this is a 5-8 neat tonight.
5-8 neat,
which means we don't have a guest because we didn't want to do that.
Yeah. No, we had planned
to arrange a guest. We were tired and we didn't. And also we wanted, I don't know, it just felt right to just be with you.
Yes.
Kicking in 2025 on the 5-8 with our community. So it just felt, I don't know, just wanted to bring it in a little bit more intimate and just be us.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And kind of process. Because I feel like the last 2 weeks for me, I've been just sort of more quiet, really quiet. I thought I was going to do a lot more. I
haven't even talked to you that much, honestly.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just been quiet and just sort of letting my brain absorb what's happening now and what's about to come. And just sort of getting ready for it. So I'm going to put some time on the clock. Okay. Did you have anything else you wanted to say before we jump into our first topic?
No, I mean, just, piggybacking on what you just said, I think I was doing on some level the same thing. Like, I think it's going to be, nobody really knows what's going to happen on January 20th and going forward. We can guess, we can make very, very good educated guesses, but nobody really knows what's going to happen. Yeah. And I think that's part of the problem or part of the challenge emotionally and spiritually that we're having. Is that,
we'll talk about that. Let's talk about that later on in the show for sure. Okay. But here's our first topic. Okay. Insurrection or rebellion.
Rebellion against the same.
Against the same.
You know what that is? You know
it's a song from? I know. It's a lyric. What is it?
It's from the 14th Amendment, Section 3.
Oh, it is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's a great song.
It would be. Yeah, I think somebody should write the song.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Maybe we'll call someone. All right. So what do you want to say about this, Greg?
All right. So I think the first thing, and I think the theme of the show tonight, if we have a theme, is that there's a lot of lies going on. There's a lot of falsehoods. There's a lot of people claiming that they know everything, that they don't know anything. And it's hard. We were talking about this before the show a little bit. It's hard to know who to put your faith in and who to trust because so many of the leaders that we've been depending on have just kind of ghosted us, or they're just they're busy pardoning turkeys or whatever the fuck they're doing.
Whatever they're doing.
I don't know.
Oh my God. We thought we had such a deep bench.
We did not. And so when we see actual bravery and leadership play out, I feel like it's important to highlight it because it again, the gaslighting is just off the fucking charts. And it
Mm.
has been for some time, but I feel like it's ramping up, which is another reason the last 2 weeks have been so necessary to rest and recover, because the gaslighting, the effect is just brutal. So I thought we would start with this statement that Liz Cheney put out today.
Yeah.
The only fucking Republican in the entire country that has any sort of backbone. Do you want to read it, or do you want me to read it?
Sure, I'll read it.
Okay.
Here's Liz. Donald, this is not the Soviet Union. First of all, chef kiss
Yes.
for calling him out for his Soviet roots. You can't change the truth, and you cannot silence us. Remember all your lies about the voting machines, the election workers, your countless allegations of fraud that never happened. Many of your lawyers have been sanctioned, disciplined, or disbarred. The courts ruled against you, and dozens of your own White House administration and campaign aides testified against you. Remember how you sent a mob to our Capitol and then watched the violence on television and refused for hours to instruct the mob to leave? Remember how your former vice president prevented you from overturning our republic? We remember. And now, as you take office again, the American people need to reject your latest malicious falsehoods and stand as the guardrails of our constitutional republic to protect the America we love from you. Liz Cheney. Yay, applaud Liz Cheney.
I mean, that's
which is
a
part of the
statement.
Fine, fuck. I'm applauding Liz Cheney.
Right. Yes, it's all crazy. But that is a statement. I mean, that's a real statement from a real political leader who knows stuff and isn't afraid to say what she knows. And by doing so, shine the spotlight. And, because if we're going to do the gaslighting metaphor, the cure for gaslighting is lots and lots of light. And that's what she's doing. These statements like this, they're important because they shine light on it and they make us all, we're all like, are we nuts? Has everybody forgotten what happened? We're 4 years away from, they tried to overthrow the government. That was 4 years ago. I seem to recall.
Violently.
I seem to recall violence. I seem to recall Josh Hawley fist pumping the guys and then running away in sheer terror. And somehow people voted for him again or whatever. Somehow he wasn't laughed out of Dodge forever. I mean, what a fucking coward, disgraceful, disgusting coward. So go
ahead.
No, I don't even, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, I seem to remember a lot of these lawmakers, not just Donald, but a lot of these lawmakers and his close confidants and aides like Steve Bannon and Alex Jones and Roger Stone.
Rudy Giuliani. You're going to have trial by combat, Rudy Giuliani said.
All being involved in plotting and planning in plain sight, telling us all about the insurrection that was coming. They had T-shirts ready. They were Proud Boys. They were Oath Keepers. People did go to prison for insurrection, right? Not just trespassing on the Capitol. It wasn't a field. Yeah. And I can't escape the fact that in our Constitution, it says anybody who aids and abets an insurrection shall not be able to seek office.
Yeah.
And yet they're all in there.
Yeah.
Because there weren't any consequences.
I mean, we were talking about this before. Like, obviously, they did not go after the politicians who were involved with this. Tommy Tuberville, remember, they called him up on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
That Loudermilk guy, what was he up to? Boebert was tweeting out where Pelosi was. Like, there's all these people that were involved.
Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene said, we need pardons. They said, we need pardons to engage in this thing.
Why would they?
Are you going to give us pardons?
Strange.
Yeah. So they knew it was illegal and they got into it. It just,
not only,
I feel like this is where the leaders, how can you have leaders that we can all look for and look to, even within on our own side of the elected, in terms of elected officials, when rampant criminality by elected officials, even violent insurrection, delivers no consequences. And I'm sorry, there is one man responsible for the slow walking of that. We got delayed a year.
Yeah.
The J6 committee had to do all of the evidence gathering because the Justice Department wasn't doing it. That's a truth we have to come to terms with and be frank about. And let me tell you, I just I'm very, very pleased that I went, as I shared with you guys last time we were on air. I had just come from going to that event in New York City where it was a human rights foundation, and just having that insight of it's going to come down to human rights and we need to fight for it. And here are organizations and individuals who and lawyers and funds and resources that have been fighting for human rights and fighting against human rights violations all over the world for decades now. And this is going to become sort of the bottom line up front, right? The core issue as we're careening into the big democracy, us collapsing under this sort of authoritarian future. And this real fascism we're going to just see human rights right out of the gate. They're promising. The campaign promise was, right? Human rights violations. We're going to round up a bunch of people, even if they're U.S. citizens. We don't like the way they are. And we're going to, So I'm glad I have that anchor. I'm glad I have that because I don't have any leadership. There's no leadership.
No.
And I really think there's a strong connection. I don't have quite all the words for it right now. Perhaps I'll write something about it. But when a citizenry and its law enforcement officials are there that we put them in there and they're there for us, allow insurrectionists, rampant criminals, rapists, right, to hold in and stay in office. It forces everybody who isn't, but is sharing that space, to capitulate to it.
Yeah.
So there's no leadership because there's already this language of, well, we have to work together. We have to find common ground. Maybe resisting isn't the way.
Yeah.
Because they're in there rubbing shoulders with seditionists.
Whatever happened, we don't negotiate with terrorists is what I said. The solution to this problem is every Democrat in D.C. and every branch of government should just say Trump is ineligible under the Section 3 of the 14th Amendment and treat J.D. Vance like he's the president-elect. We don't like J.D. Vance, but he was he was elected. Trump is not eligible, therefore he's going to be president. Could you imagine if everyone did that and the media started reporting on it? Trump would get so insane about it. He might, Big Mac attack, and that's it. But
waiting for the Big Mac attack. Greg, why hasn't the Big Mac attack happened? Oh my God.
That's the end. That's one of the things that we can do. We meaning, the people that care, but they're not going to do it. They're just going to be like, well, I don't know.
Well, what can we do? Keeps getting normalized.
It brings us to the second topic.
Okay, let's go.
Excuses and lies. We're going to start with the lies. And, the main thing about Trump, I think, apart from all else, there's lots of ways that you can slice him and dice him. He's a criminal. Yes, he's a coward. Yes, he's a rapist and a rape. But at the bottom of all of it, he is a liar. He cannot tell the truth. He does not tell the truth. Not only does he lie, he insists upon other people forcibly inventing shit. Like the first thing that he did when he took office on day one was make Sean Spicer go out there, the press secretary at the time, and lie about the crowd size at the inauguration, which was a stupid thing. And we all thought, this is kind of dumb. But what he was doing is he was declaring war on truth. And it was because of that, in an interview soon after, that Kellyanne Conway coined alternative facts. Okay. So that's how it started. And it was a bombardment against truth. It was just a bombing of it, to the point now where what the fuck is, we don't even know what's true anymore. And the thing that, we're going to talk about the attacks that happened this week a little bit later, but my main takeaway from them was Trump goes immediately on Truth Social and spews out some bullshit. What will happen in the country when there's a big national crisis and we don't know what the fuck is happening, because he's lying? I mean, he did this during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yes. But I think the pandemic was such a kind of out of the blue kind of thing that I think it confused them a little bit. And there was a sense that nobody really knew what was happening. And I think it muted somewhat what the lies that they were doing. And, again, because of his negligent leadership, quote unquote, during the pandemic, 600,000 more Americans are dead than should have died, which is how many died in the Civil War. Again, we memory hold this too. We're just gonna forget about that.
Yeah.
What happens when it's a terrorist attack and he just decides to blame Iran? Just because he feels
like George Bush, is it? Dick Cheney, it?
Yeah,
Axis of evil.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys lied about the yellow cake and the uranium and the war in Iraq, specifically the invasion of Iraq, combined with the tax cuts, bankrupted this country, really put us on a path to insolvency that we may never recover from. Hundreds of years from now, when people look back on the American empire in this age, or whatever you want to call it, that is what is going to be seen as the moment when everything completely went off the rails.
Yeah.
And that was a lie. It was based on a lie. Everyone knew they were lying. For some fucking reason, they did it anyway. Now, Trump is going to do the same. I'm sure he's going to, whatever happens, whatever the outcome he wants is what he's going to do. He's going to blame Zelensky, I bet. He's going to blame, Taiwan, maybe. I don't know.
Well, here's what I would love. There's so little I feel like we can do other than have our community, have our conversation. What I do think will be helpful, because we can't turn our back on all of journalism. I know there's this big movement, legacy media, get rid of it. We'll talk about that a little bit too. But, don't pay attention to the people who are telling you to do that. That's like, they're not your leaders. Let me tell you, these podcasters and YouTubers, being a podcaster and a YouTuber, no, it's not. And there's no budget to do the kind of investigative journalism. I don't care how many downloads they get. They're not, the folks that are saying that are not investing in that. And nor do they know how to even do that. That's, so we need journalists, and we need to support journalists and people who are going after the truth, because of the torrent of lies, and because that puts in it becomes a national security issue. This lie that he told right out of the gate on the first of, not even president yet, but everybody calling him the president, put up a post. He's like, he's not president yet. Stop that. But that's already going again. For some, it never stopped. And, he's got he gets security briefings. The excuse of, well, he doesn't pay attention to them, or he said that's an excuse. No more excuses.
Yeah.
Greg, even you, just then, we're going back into the COVID. Remember, well, I think it took him by surprise. That's an excuse. No.
Oh, no, I meant it took him by surprise to do the evil.
I understand, but it's still an excuse. He was there with professionals who knew what a pandemic was, who knew that bleach didn't work, who knew you didn't put light in, you up your butt to make it work. No, this guy gets no more excuses. And if we hold the people so that we can keep the good journalism going, but yes, the gaslighting coming, it's in this too, right? It's all over this. We're being gaslit about this guy still, that he somehow isn't capable of doing the job that he did for 4 years, bemoaned for the 4 years he wasn't doing it, ran another campaign, and was elected to do again. There's no more excuses. He's done this job. He knows what kind of expertise are available to him. He understands the intelligence community. He knows what the intelligence product is. He gets his briefings. If he's going to put out misinformation, it's not, I'm not saying you don't get to be fallible. I'm not talking about people not being able to make a mistake. I'm saying if he's putting out something like it's because of open borders that this guy came, this terror that through New Orleans, he's lying because he has access to security, to top security briefings. He does. He knew when he posted that guy was a Texas American, homegrown. We trained him, went through the Army, veteran. That's who he is. He knew all that. So he's choosing to lie.
Yeah.
Every time you hear anybody starting to make excuses for this guy, even ourselves, I think it's worth calling that out. I think that's something we can do. There's so little we can do. We all have social media platforms. Even if you have a small account, we have bigger accounts. I think hashtag no more excuses. And because we need to stop that, he controls the narrative by the biggest control he has over the narrative is getting all of these people that we're looking to deliver the truth to us to make excuses for his lies.
Yeah.
And if we can break that cycle, I think it puts us on a better road. I do.
I think you're right. So we have a sponsor.
We do?
Yeah,
okay.
We have a new sponsor. I'm pretty excited about this one because I think there's a lot of money. There's a lot of money coming in.
We're going to need it.
Yeah, it's good. So.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Sick to death of Match.com? Tired of the same dead ends on Tinder? Hinge got you down? The reality is that in our woke world of soy boy beta males and joyless feminazis, it's tough to find the right partner. That's where we can help. Hi, I'm Elon Musk, here to tell you about a new online dating app by pronatalists for pronatalists. Eugenics. That's eugenics with an X because X is my favorite letter. It's so cool. Whether you're seeking a genius alpha bull with perfect pitch and potent seed, or a fertile mama with childbearing hips and blue eyes, Eugenics has got you covered. From allele frequency to zygote. You can take it from me. I'm not just a spokesman for Eugenics. I'm also a client. I found half a dozen of my human broodmares on Eugenics. It's the best way to slip into some genes. So call 1-800-GOODDNA. That's 1-800-GOOD-DNA. And ask how Eugenics can work for you like it worked for me. Eugenics, a breed apart. And now, back to the show.
Oh, Chunk.
Yeah, Chunk did it.
And by the way, I meant to say to you, I love this voice. You have many voices. This is as a voice actor, you're getting in there. You're getting in there and getting some good stuff out of there.
I thought that was the worst one I've done, but
no, I love it. I love it.
But
it's just weird enough.
It's bad. It doesn't sound like him. It just sounds like someone weird.
Point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even say his name right. I was like, I'm Elon Musk. Like,
it's so good.
Anyway, I thought.
Thank you, Chunk.
Yeah, that was good, Chunk.
That was a good one. All right. Well, normally we have a guest, but it's just you and I. So shall we head? You want to put a timer on to the third topic? We don't normally do that, but we could.
Well, let's see. What time is it? We could put it on just to see.
All right. Let's
see how badly we go by it.
Happens. Sorry. We are going to have an after hours. Yeah. So, and we'll announce that again a little bit later, but we have more coming for you guys. So tonight, we just want to spend a little time with our community. All right. What is this third topic you have for us?
The third topic is the one about the wealth, the danger of vast wealth. Speaking of Elon Musk, he he has, and I know like people are saying he's the richest man who ever lived. And look, Caesar Augustus owned all of Egypt as his personal possession.
That's true.
And all of the grain that was grown there and all the gold and let's not get carried away. But he's certainly one of the wealthiest people that we've had in quite some time. And like, I'm not really sure why, because he doesn't seem to do anything that makes it, worth having all that money. But anyway, he's got all this money. He's got all these government contracts. He doesn't already pay taxes. He left California to go to Texas to avoid paying the state tax.
Right.
Because he's just a cheap fucking bastard. Like, doesn't want anybody else to have anything. You can't just break off a piece and at one point, wasn't he going to solve world hunger? Remember that?
Oh, he had a lot of, he had a lot of
I'm
big
going to solve
things.
this. You won't even pay your taxes in California, you cheap fuck. Pay your stupid taxes. Like, what's wrong with you? So now he's going to be in government, and it's going to be interesting to see how this little tug of war or this human centipede winds up, organizing itself, and who's going to be in charge. Because I'm not sure if it's Elon or if it's Donald or if it's, I guess it's ultimately it's Putin, but I'm not really sure. But you were talking before about like, we haven't had this level of thing where somebody this wealthy is also this powerful politically. So I don't know, like what are your biggest worries about this, and where do you see this being headed?
I guess it's the concentration of it, the concentration of all of that money. It's not just him, it's the just this handful. But certainly he's in a position to then determine which federal agencies, survive or don't. These agencies and these institutions that the American people, we've gone through two massive wars. We had our Civil War, and then, but in terms of world wars, and then wars that went on forever that shouldn't have. The forever war of Afghan, which is, we're starting to see the price of that now, of having broken these men's brains and their spirits and their souls, and how dangerous that is as they careen, towards middle age and responsibilities, and not being able to, it just not having those resources, because only a few of these fuckers do, right? A handful of them just have everything to get in there and start having not any sense of a society, to the degree to where you're so much wealth and yet refuse to pay taxes, will run away and go live somewhere you don't even want to live, because you don't want any of that's your own to come back into the community or to society on any level, because no one else should have any of that. And you're going to go in and decide. He's the one that gets to go in and decide whether Social Security continues.
I wonder about that, because I feel like
whether we have educated. Let me just finish this. Whether we
go ahead.
Whether we have the Department of Education, whether we have, whether someone like Robert Kennedy Jr. can just run amok with our food and our drugs that keep us healthy, our clean air and water. Just get rid of all of the agencies that make sure that everyday citizens aren't being poisoned by the kinds of companies that these guys have amassed all this wealth from. These aren't altruistic people, or they would pay taxes.
Yeah.
So that they have the power to just say, nope, no more public schools, no more public school funding. And literally stop paying teachers and administrators so that on Tuesday, a nation of children won't have a school to go to. Just boop, one morning, it's gone. And how will the society wrestle with all of that? That's, to me, how that something like that would just destroy lives, just destroy lives and families and communities with one swoop. It's just dangerous, really dangerous.
It's Chip Roy, who I think is Logan Roy's illegitimate son, maybe, was on some show or podcast or whatever today talking about, what they want to cut. They want to cut the certain benefits. They want to cut the SNAP benefits. They want to, anything that's helping people that don't have a lot of money, they want to cut.
Yeah.
And that they're going to try to do. I question, and I don't know the answer to this, whether Musk will have any power with the purse, since the executive branch doesn't have any power over the purse. Congress controls that. So I just wonder if he's going to say, we're not going to pay this. And it's like, okay, whatever you say, Elon, that's nice. Okay. Like he's just kind of like, he's driving the fake car in the back seat or something. I'm not sure how much power he has. He may have a lot.
How much he has. It's the power he has over Donald, which is already proven to be pretty vast, because Congress is just going to do whatever Donald tells him to. So if Donald chimes in and says, no, we really do need to end it, and they want to end it anyway. These Republicans have been trying to get rid of Social Security and, SNAP programs. That's like, oh my God, that's like, the gnat that's been bothering them in their soul, right? Of like, in their corrupt, evil soul. It's the elephants that I'm worried about. It's the, I don't know. I don't even know what will happen to military budgets, quite frankly. I think there's so much privatization that these guys want, mostly men want, that it's hard. Again, it's one of those things that's hard to predict. It's hard to predict where it's gonna go, but it's a very dangerous, deadly, and destructive facet of greed.
Yeah. I think, and you made this point before when we were talking, that this is also like, people call them new robber barons, and the robber barons actually gave a lot more back to the community than these fucking people did. Say what you will about Rockefeller. He invented philanthropy because he wanted to give his money away in a way that made sense and was fair to people, so these people aren't doing anything like that.
Even big mobsters, even big mob bosses from back in the day, truly, they did they didn't let their community go hungry.
Yeah.
They
Al Capone
didn't.
on Thanksgiving with the turkeys and
Yeah. Because they were immigrants and they understood.
And I just don't know. These people are so corrupt. You made this point. They're so greedy and corrupt, and it's like, where is the line? And what's the red line for us? Meaning all of the people in this country. How much does he have to take, Musk and Trump, before we really start doing what needs to be done to take our power back? Which is take to the street, do the general, all that stuff that we know what it is. But where's the line? When they take away all Social Security next week, is that the line? Should be.
It's interesting. We had an interesting sort of family discussion over the holidays. It's some relatives visiting, and it's that I love and know well, but you learn about people too in these conversations. And that was the conversation of like, where's the line? And it was an uncle of mine, and he said, well, if they come for people's pensions, that's it. And I was like, okay, so you've I, and I get it. And I'm not saying he's wrong, but it was like, he was like, for him, that's where men will go crazy, right? If they're facing not having the pension they work so hard for. To me, Social Security is that we work so hard for that as well.
Sure.
And he was including those benefits as part of
Mhm.
that discussion. But it was like, yeah, they come for that. They come for the stuff that we worked and had, shit we didn't even want to do for decades.
Because they're thieves.
Right. Right. And and it's ours. And we worked really hard for it. And you're going to come and take it. He was like, that'll be people in the streets. And I was like, okay, that's interesting.
We'll see. I mean, and we can tax these people. We have it in our power to do that. In the 1950s, the top marginal tax rate was like 91%. So if you made more than X number, and I know it's complicated because a lot of Musk's wealth is tied up in stock options and all this bullshit, but they can figure out a way to tax these fuckers.
They can pay 35% in tax. They can.
Yeah,
they don't.
And they should.
They can. And
we should just seize it. Frankly,
since
the money's ours anyway. What money does he have? It's ours.
Yeah. I don't know what money he has. That's not from our tax dollars. So,
well, maybe the Xi and Putin money, maybe if he's got that.
Maybe
the Saudi money
from them. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where the money comes from. I don't know.
But look. I do feel like when there's an imbalance like this, just pulling back even away from the politics of it all, but when you just concentrate wealth like that, like what we've allowed to have happen, and again, without any consequences, without any check or balance on it, it feels unsustainable to me. And yet we're watching it continue. It's sort of like the housing market. I thought the housing market would have adjusted by now. And it hasn't yet. It keeps going. So I don't know. I don't know where the adjustment comes in. I just hope it's not a crash. But it kind of feels that way.
Like I said, no range of outcome would surprise me. In this year of our Lord 2025. I mean, crashes, apocalyptic events, or I win the fantasy Super Bowl again.
I love you on this. Okay,
know.
I want to bring before we move on, I wanted to bring up this one thing that did happen. So I had somebody and I don't know who it was, and I apologize if you're watching, but someone came into one of the DMs, I don't know, and was like, what do we do about Amazon? And I'm getting rid of the app. And I'm like, is there an app? I didn't know there was an app. So I'm like behind and all that kind of stuff. And I just wanted to say, I know when last time we were talking about, we can make them pay. You alluded to economic strikes and boycotts. That's very different than, like, I haven't bought from Amazon since the workers have been on strike. Supporting striking workers who want to form union and supporting the labor movement is one thing. It's a early step. It's an easy step. But when we get into the time of having to do real boycotts or moving into economic strikes, there are people who know how to do that. This takes organization and expertise. And there are people who have that. I am not that person. You're not that person. We'll try to figure out who those people are. This is in this sort of sub-theme of tonight of where are the leaders? I mean, we'll just keep looking for them and encouraging, maybe if you know some folks that do know how to do this, encouraging them to show up and step up and lead. But I think we will have to get into the lane of boycotts. And, if it's something like Amazon, where we just want the folks with the vast wealth to understand that that as consumers, we do have a lot of power, that where we step in is doing something like nobody buys on Amazon on Tuesday. And then that goes to every Tuesday. and then we add in Wednesday, Thursday, and then we add in Sunday. And that's the kind of organization and thinking and schedule that we need a leader who knows what they're doing to sort of pave the way for us in that and show us what to do and lead us. And I think we generated a whole bunch of new people who went into Congress and local leadership, but we need we need a new breed of activists, clearly.
Yeah.
Not criticizing the old activists, but we need something new there.
Well, everybody's leaving. All the executive branch people are leaving their jobs on the 20th. So they're all unemployed and they're all available. Buttigieg and Kamala and these.
I love Pete Buttigieg.
Yeah, like let's get with it. And I don't need more campaigning. That's just, no one's interested in campaigning. Help us. That's it. If you want to be president, solve these problems. We'll vote for you. You don't need to be president to do this thing that we need right now. So.
Yeah. I mean, even Al Gore all those years ago was like, okay, I'm going to tell people about what's going to go happen to the planet. Mm-hmm. Something.
Yep.
Not a big Al Gore fan, but still, that was helpful.
It was helpful. Helpful. Yeah.
We need some help.
We do. We
need some help.
All
right.
Moving on,
everybody. Our fourth topic. Let's go. Timer set.
Oh, terror and dread. This is a happy one. Good. It's nice to go into the happy ones.
Okay.
Towards the beginning. So, it's like New Year's, and then we have these attacks, plural. And it's horrible anyway, but it also coming at this time when everything feels so unsteady and unsure and uncertain, it makes it, I think, a lot more terrifying and paralyzing. And, I feel like a lot of people, certainly that I've talked to, and myself, have this underlying, dread kind of feeling, just kind of humming in the background, like a noise machine, in the back room, that you don't even realize it's on sometimes, but it's there making its noise. And because we've seen this movie before, we were talking before, like everybody's got PTSD from this guy. He's already been the president. And what happened is he killed 600,000 people. And then he tried to overthrow the government when he got booted out. That's what he did last time, when there were people there who were trying to stop him at all turns. This time, not going to be anybody there that's really going to try to stop him, I don't think, unless they're going to try to stop him for their own selfish asshole reasons, which is possible. Again, don't know what's going to happen. But I feel like there's just, there's a lot of, and we have no solution to this, but I feel like it's important to acknowledge it and to talk about it, because it's not, I don't think it's something that's abnormal. I think it's something that people are feeling. Do you feel that way?
I do. I'm trying to not, I know you said Jimmy Carter, don't use the word because of Jimmy Carter, but, and God bless Jimmy Carter.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just try not to let malaise set in. Today I was down, and I just sort of was like, okay, I'm just going to be down. It's okay. I don't need to go to the gym today, but I'm not going to let this guy derail my health and my life, and these people. I do think there's a lot to hold on to, check in with one another, do all that stuff that we know we've got to do. George Lakoff had that great thread a couple days ago that I just discovered today. Maybe we'll read through that in the after hours, because it's great about this is how you resist. But I hate that noise in the background. By the way, I hate it. I hate the fan in the bathroom that you don't know is on until you turn it off. And then you're like, oh God, that was bothering me. My mother's the same. We just, have that. And it's just this noise that we can't turn off. We can't figure it out. Where's the switch? What is going on? And I just want to say also to everybody, I think it's important to have conversations that we aren't always trying to probe in and let's dissect, and we can just talk like normally.
Yeah.
And just have a group conversation. And I know you guys have this with one another in our chat room. But what we did, it's not Trump derangement syndrome or some kind of horrible hysteria that people are giving into to be acutely aware of how dangerous this man is. He was the first time, to understand that we're under attack, especially if you're women or minorities, that there's a war on us. These folks want us dead. So we're being spiritually terrorized constantly and mentally terrorized constantly, and sometimes physically very much in danger. God forbid this H1B5N1, whatever it is, I keep mixing up the visa and the bird flu, becomes a pandemic. Whichever one or the two of them together, a lot of lives are going to be lost and people are going to be in danger and folks are going to have their families ripped apart, and it's real. And so I don't want us to feel like we have to give into the gaslighting on that too, that we somehow don't know how dangerous this all is, when we did live through 1 million people dying last time and all of the national security issues that were afoot. And, God forbid, and we know that these upcoming are the planet is going to give us some severe weather. That's all it seems to know how to do in these seasons of hurricanes and floods when we get those. And, these people they're not competent of showing up and helping the way that folks are going to need it. So it's okay to feel, I just think it's okay to be afraid, and also do what everybody knows we have to do to not give into that, in terms of turning to the wall or taking to the bed. I don't want to take to the bed, Greg. I don't want to do it. I did it today. I don't want to do it again.
It's so cold out,
It's very cold out.
No, and I think everybody is going to, get through this in their own way. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. And I think sometimes you're going to need to rest, and that's fine, and that's just how it's going to be. But right now, for the next 2 weeks and change, I feel like, you alluded to the bad weather, and that's what this is like. It's a hokey metaphor, but it's true. It's like, we know the hurricane's coming. We're just battening down the hatches, making sure we have our water and our batteries and all that shit, and praying that it isn't as bad as the meteorologists are telling us. That's what's happening now. And
sometimes it's not.
Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not.
And sometimes it's worse.
Sometimes it's Katrina, You just don't know. I don't know,
Yeah.
So, and in the meantime, they're not going to kill joy. I think we have to be able to, what did Bernard Shaw said, that life doesn't stop being funny when someone dies any more than it stops being, sad when someone laughs, something like that.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be this push and pull with the two things. And we have to, like you said, taking to the bed means that you've surrendered some emotional thing about yourself that you need to.
Yeah. I just don't want, I was just looking at your comments here, everybody. People saying, like, trying to remember how to have a regular conversation. Like, you can get so disembodied, just yeah.
I saw a friend of mine that I haven't seen for a while today at the pizza place.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, how are you?" And he was like, "Well, I mean, I'm fine, but so it was just, always that. Right. Everything sucks, but other than everything sucking,
Yeah.
it's not so bad. Could be worse, I suppose.
Yeah. Well,
it's announcements time.
It's announcements time. All right, so we have it in after hours.
We're having an after hours.
If anybody's new out there and you don't know what an after hours is, we'll put up another link. It'll come into this page. You need to subscribe to our channel. So you have to hit subscribe so that you can see the links. I think it might be on there. Everyone can see it. And then there's a join button on there. I don't know what to call it. Clickable thing, link. And where it says join, you join our, you get a membership, and we make it really easy to get a membership and really cheap. And so it's a members only thing that we give for folks just to have a little bit extra content and, just little extra special stuff. And it's little bit of a different space. I don't know whether I should talk about the Bob Dylan movie or not, because I don't want to spoil it for people, but I have a lot to say about that movie.
Let's just spoil it. Everyone knows Bob
all right,
Dylan
so we might be spoiling.
He was there. He showed up. He played some songs. He sang badly. We know the story.
We even know more of the songs that I thought I knew. In the lyrics.
Spoiler.
All right, so things like that. So we have a different kind of conversation.
Like a Rolling Stone was going to be called Like a Beatle, and then he changed his mind. He had breakfast with Mick Jagger, and he was like, "Nah, it's got to be the other one." That's what it is.
Yeah. So anyway, that is what we're going to be doing. It's about 15 minutes after we log off here. We do that, and we'd love for you to join us. So, and there are people who give away gift memberships because they're so generous in the community. So look for that. So that's it. That's my announcement for this week. I think next week you're gone. Am I right?
In Florida. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you've got a trip. You're working. So
I got my vaccines yesterday. I'm ready to go to Florida. I'm ready to go to DeSantistan.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're all vaxxed up, and I'm going to find a guest friend to come, and I don't have that locked down just yet, but I have my eyes on somebody, and so we'll still have a show, and it'll be great. We'll just be missing you, Greg. So
yeah. Well,
that's all I got
that's all you got.
That's all I got. Do you have any?
I just want to say again, thank you to everybody for watching and subscribing and liking and engaging in, the chat room, which is, for us really great. We're very, just pleased and flattered that we have this great community here that shows up every week and gets along so well. And I think, we would like to think helps each other get through this, these trying times.
Yeah.
These trying times. Just thank you and Happy New Year. And, maybe 2025, maybe it won't be so bad.
Maybe it won't be. Yeah. I'm into being in that space. So on that note,
all right,
we've got our last topic. Brain break.
Okay. So, there's a couple of things we maybe wanted to hit, that we didn't talk about. The first one is the sentencing, which is happening. So what's your take on the sentencing? Trump is going to be sentenced on January 10th in the, the case in New York City on which he was found guilty on 34 counts. So what's your take on it?
Brings me joy that he will be he's indicted and convicted felon.
Yep.
Brings me joy.
Okay.
That's my take on it. I guess Mershon showed up. He already said he can't really, but he's going to sentence him. I don't see how winning an election means you can't show up for your sentencing hearing. So, and I guess Trump can do it. Donald, I should say, can do it virtually. So, it's of course, but I don't know. He's a criminal.
Yeah, he's a criminal. Yeah. He's going to have a record. I guess he'll pardon himself, one supposes, but or can he? Is it a state thing? I
don't know how that. I think he'll find a way to do something.
But that that speaks to something else, which is that the only people that have put a glove on him are the lower level jurisdictions, the city of New York, Fulton County, Georgia came close, at least the federal government. It's just not, I know Jack Smith did his stuff, but it's just that year of waiting just fucked up. It just did. There's no,
There was even an article, I should have shared it with you, where someone was saying Joe Biden now regrets Merrick Garland and thinks that was it's like,
oh, do you?
Do you?
Wow. Could have fired him a while ago.
Yeah.
Even fucking Woody Johnson fired the Jets coach after a, lackadaisical beginning of the season. Come on, man. 4 years is a long time to be.
I know you won the Super Bowl, but no one knows what you're talking about. Right?
Woody Johnson is the Nepo baby who owns the Jets. So yeah, I just, you think he's bad. And at the end of the day, it's a results-based thing. The guy tried to overthrow the government. 4 years later, not a damn fucking thing happened. Not only to not him or the members of Congress, but even how does Rudy Giuliani, how does he somehow avoid a federal indictment? How can you not indict that motherfucker? Roger Stone, Alex Jones, these guys that were involved in this.
Yeah.
I mean, they were Rudy Giuliani, the day before, was talking about we need trial by combat, and he's rallying up people to go storm the Capitol. We're just gonna pretend that didn't happen, I suppose. Why? Because he's America's mayor or what? Some shit. People in New York City hate his fucking guts. Newsflash.
I don't know about this. I don't know.
It's just it's really disgusting. So, but the brain break thing that we wanted to talk about, just to get back to the topic at hand, is that this whole thing now. I mean, you and I, we talk frequently, and we're dead. And then periodically in our conversations, we're just like, and I'm sure everybody has this, this moment in conversations they have with other people that talk about these things, where it's like, I can't believe this is happening. This is so crazy. How are we here? This guy he's a reality show host, mobster, Kremlin asset rapist.
Yeah.
And we already got rid of him once. And he's back. And the only person in the entire federal government system standing up for him is, checks notes, Dick Cheney's daughter. That's where we are right now. Dick Cheney, great patriot. We're on Dick Cheney's side. It's, my head hurts. And
I understand.
Right? I mean,
listen, I don't know. I don't know. What we're trying to do here at the end of this show, and we literally talked about this, is we can't just talk about the things at hand because it's all so dark. And how can we not? No one wants to be that. I don't want to live in that. I don't want to, and there's enough of that. You can get that elsewhere. That's not why we're coming here on Friday night. But then we found ourselves laughing about the darkest stuff in the, okay, so we're just going to laugh about the dark stuff. And that worked a little bit. That was a little bit of a release, to just find a way to make jokes out of the darkest stuff that you can think to make a joke out of. And then we came back to, oh my God, what's going on? And then the headline came across. This was all in our production meeting. Then the headline comes across, Trump being sentenced, on January 10th. And then there was another headline, and it was like, oh, wow, we're in it. Here we are in the washing machine. We're in it. We're in the chaos cycle. Here we go. So I don't know. I mean, I do think we talked about this in the last topic instead of this one, but I do think it's just, maybe everybody just needs to maybe make our own plan, our personal strategy. Remember those day timers? Remember that when you had the book? I think my mother still has one and carries it around. It's the big, and it's an organizer. That's what it was. An organizer or a date timer organizer. Oh my God, he's got one. Let me see it. Is it in the trash can? What are you pulling out there?
No, it's in my bag.
It's in your bag. Do you have a day timer?
Like this kind of thing? With a calendar in it?
Yeah, but it was
Okay.
more elaborate. Like we would carry these around before they ended up in your phone, and you had
I
all the,
hate putting the shit in my phone. I'm never going to do that.
yeah. Anyway, we need something that's that sort of level, like a cookbook, like a recipe book of, you know, how to handle the different. Maybe we can color code the chaos. Do you think we can color code it and then have like different things that you have to do when this, and at the end of the day, what we both ended up with was like, we're just going to go eat pizza. So this is also what I want to not have become the norm to go to, but there should be like a threshold where it's like, all right, it's a pizza. It's a pizza moment. You know, we're going to solve it with that because there's nothing else we can do. But we don't want to fall out of shape. So I don't know how maybe that's going to end up being, what about that as your next book, is a strategy, personal strategies for getting through this.
It's going to be a short book. So I don't know, we were talking about resolutions before, right?
Okay.
New Year's resolutions.
Yep.
So, and you asked me, did I have a resolution? And I was like, what? I don't know. But I do have a resolution, which I've been practicing for the last 2 weeks, which is I just want to read more and not read like about Nazis so much, just read about like novels and go back to art and, and stuff like that, which I think
that's a good one.
Lakoff says in that, is that his name? In that thread, like, the artists and stuff, because that's, there's power in that. I'm going to be writing about something on Sunday. Like I have this book of letters that George and essays and other things that George Orwell wrote from 1920 to 1940, which I bought 30 years ago. And I was like, I looked at it then, I was like, eh. And now I'm like, oh, this might come in handy now. That's the beauty of books, because you never know when you're going to want to take the book down from the shelf and when it's going to speak to you, as opposed to like some website that you forgot to bookmark and you're never going to find again, and it might not be there, and
it might be changed. Yeah,
right. It might be changed. So that's my resolution is to read more books. And he talks a little bit in one of these essays about the artwork and the writing coming out of the early 40s, late 30s, and the Spanish Civil and the different approaches to it. And it's pretty interesting, kind of the push and pull about it.
I look forward to that. I feel a Sunday Pages coming.
Yeah, it's going to be a good. It's going to be a good Sunday Pages. Henry Miller is involved. That's the only.
Oh, that's good.
That's the only hint. But yeah, I've been thinking about this. Anyway, do you have a resolution?
Yes, I shared it with you. I'll share it with everybody. I need to remember my colonoscopy. I can't remember this damn colonoscopy. I keep scheduling it and then forgetting, and then scheduling it again and forgetting. And so that truly is my New Year's resolution, is to not forget it, and to get my prep stuff and do the prep stuff the day before, and or not get sick. And I don't know. I need to, damn it. Got to get that done.
Prep stuff is really awful. I'm not I don't like it. I do not like it. It was not fun.
It's awful, but then, your jeans fit great. So
like Elon Musk's jeans. Yeah. I'll slip into my jeans. X is my favorite. He's so butthead. That's who he is. He's butthead. It's Beavis or Butthead. This is a combination.
I mean, do that.
He does look like both of them.
Who would be Beavis? We should do this.
I think
Vance Beavis? Who's Beavis?
Matt Gaetz. No, it would be Gates and Musk would be Beavis and Butthead, I think.
Oh, that's so good.
Although I suppose he's Wayne Newton now because of all the filler.
Yeah.
That's a lot of I'm not knowledgeable about stuff like that, but it looks like maybe he was allergic to shellfish and he ate a whole plate of shrimp or something. I don't know. I don't know, because he's it's
so bad. And that they do the hair transplants and all the plastic surgery and all the jaw reconstruction and all the stuff, and take the hormones and do the stuff. and then they're the ones leading the, the anti-trans stuff. Is I can't get past it. I can't get past it. All right. Well, it's been a good night.
It has been a good night. It's always fun to do the neat show,
Yeah. It was nice. It was nice.
Yeah.
I felt like we were more organized than we were on air, but I hope that everybody had a good time. I feel like, and I hope, because we'll look back through the comments, that we've sparked some conversations. I think to think about 2025, and one of the things that we can do is just start a rolling conversation that anybody can pick up, and we can just keep having it in sort of a calm and thoughtful way. But to have that conversation shift from the first Trump administration of us trying to find the facts and find the truth and find and get to just have it be a rolling conversation of, whoa, this is where I'm at right now with this thing, and figure out how to talk about, not just as individuals, but as a community. This is what we need. We need this right now. How do we get that for ourselves? And what can we do that's will be meaningful, even if it's just, tonight is identifying when pizza color code on the day timer of chaos means grab a piece of pizza. Like, what can we do? So I would like to have more of those kinds of conversations instead of so many newsy conversations or research-based conversations or historical. We know we do that. That's our muscle. We'll always keep doing that. But I just want more of this conversations, because at the end of the day, we got to get through this.